Hey guys, this is Nick from forexfornoobs.com with the weekly analysis. Today is Tuesday, the 3rd of April 2018, and the time is 10:09 here in the UK. You're looking at an AUD JPY daily chart. In this analysis, we're going to be looking for reversal setups, continuation setups, and range setups, all kinds of setups. We're going to be looking for all different kinds of setups on most of these pairs in this list here. Basically, price action setups. I'm going to be looking for all kinds of price action setups. So let's get started. AUD JPY daily chart. What's going on here right now? So AUD JPY has come down into this range. Now it's stuck between this lower support area and this upper resistance area, and it looks like it's starting to range. Might not look like that on the daily, but I'm pretty sure if we drop down to the 6 hour, maybe even lower, it doesn't matter, 6 hour, 4 hour, whichever, you can kind of see that this range has formed. So price is now ranging between the support and resistance area. On the daily, it hasn't really, we can see that it hasn't really been ranging long. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. 8 days is pretty mild for a range. You know, some ranges last a lot longer than that. So let's just see how this develops. The cool thing about ranges is they usually present some nice opportunities to jump into reversal trades because you get that pretty predictable up, down, up, down, up, down movement. It usually allows you to get into like a long trade there, a short trade there, long trade there, a short trade there. So you can kind of get some good trades out of these tight ranges. So do keep an eye out on the smaller time frames. It doesn't look like there's any setup forming right now, but do keep an eye on what happens when price reaches these highs. If price pushes up a little bit higher into this resistance area, it could give us a nice reversal. Keep in mind that last time it pushed up here, it took really long for it to reverse, so it might not be a quick reversal. But just keep an eye on this on the top side of this range, which is roughly the 81.90. AUD New Zealand, what's going on here? Similar thing, it's in a rangy kind of area, but it's not really started to range properly yet. What I mean by a rangy area, it's in an area where we've got two support resistance areas pretty close together. In fact, I'm going to move this one down just a tad. Two support resistance areas pretty close together. It's bounced from the lower one, and now it's stalling at the higher one. Now this one hasn't really developed into a kind of range yet, but it looks like it could do. But other than that, there's not really much going on in AUD New Zealand. So let's go over to AUD USD. AUD USD is obviously trending down. Cool. I'm just going to adjust this area up a little bit because it's bounced from here over the last few days. But also, moving it up, it lines up with this bouncing here. And it also sort of lines up with these wick bounces here. So all in all, it feels like that this is the stronger support area, as opposed to this one, which just lines up with that bounce where it was before. This one seems to line up with more. So I'm going to move it up to around about here. It doesn't need to be perfect. That being said, there's not much else that we can do here with AUD USD. Yeah. All right. Euro AUD. What's going on with this one? Nothing much really. I mean, it's trending up. It's pulled back from this resistance area, which I'm going to pull up to here. More in line with that recent bounce up there. It's pulled back from it, but yeah, there's nothing much going on here. Euro GBP. Now, this one, I'm adjusting the area up a little bit to this bounce here. Normally, I'll adjust my areas on Sundays. That way, when I'm doing the webinar, you won't really see me adjusting the areas. But because it was a kind of holiday weekend. I wasn't really doing my normal routine. So I didn't adjust my areas on the Sunday, which is why I'm adjusting them all now. I'm actually just going to remove this area. Well, not this one. This one that I just pulled down to here. I'm just going to remove that one. I don't think it's even needed. Yeah, it's not. All right. So, Euro GBP. Maybe if I adjusted this on Sunday, I could have been in a short trade here. Possibly, but probably wouldn't have opened a trade on Monday anyway, since it was a holiday Monday. Did anyone take a short here? A continuation short for Euro GBP? No? All right, fair enough. Euro JPY. I mean, it's trending down overall, but it looks like it's definitely starting to range now. I'll pull this area up to here. I'm tempted to pull this one down to here, but if you take a closer look, you'll see that this bouncing just kind of like a bit of an anomaly. Broke out, went straight back into this range, but we could see that most of the bounces in this range are from this area. So I'm just going to ignore that part of it. Euro JPY is in a range. It did break the range, like I said here, but you know, sometimes when price is in a tight range, you'll get these kind of minor breakouts, right? And then price just goes straight back into the range. So what you need to do is pretty much ignore these minor breakouts and just accept that price is still within that range, because that breakout clearly was an attempt to get out of that range, but it just failed. So price is back into this range. Euro JPY is ranging. Like I said, with AUD JPY, just keep an eye out for trades within this range period. So, or range area. So I'd be looking for trades from this resistance area, trades from this support area, kind of like that. But right now, there's nothing forming. So let's go on to Euro USD. Yeah, I think we're just going to do that with the support resistance area, adjust it a little bit. A lot of ranging pairs, isn't there? This is ranging too in this area. This one's had a few kind of like attempts to get out from either side, but it just really hasn't worked out. It's still overall stuck in this rangy area. So again, as we do with any range, let's look for reversals from the top and the bottom of the range. If price falls down to this support area, looking for bullish reversal. Price goes up to this resistance area, looking for bearish reversals. But right now, it's in between, so we can't really do much with Euro USD. GBP AUD trending up. Kind of hit this resistance area and backed away. I don't know what these support resistance areas are based on. Oh, yeah, they're based on pretty old data, aren't they? I placed this one based on data from all the way back in 2014. Now, when I do that, usually I place the area and I say to myself, if price reacts at this area, I'll keep it. If it doesn't, I'll lose it. So we're losing that area because price clearly didn't react at it. Price just went straight through it. So no point in having that support resistance area up there. This one can be adjusted down. Righto, so one might end up being placed here. I think it's a bit early to say that, but it could end up being placed there. I'm not going to place it right now. I'm just going to keep an eye on what price does in this area. But yeah, right now, I mean, there's really not much trading opportunities here. It's bounced away from this resistance area, started to drop, but yeah, nothing much we can do there. Jpy has fallen to the support area. It's also hitting that 200 SMA there. I'll pull this down just a tad. Also hitting that 200 SMA there. Looks like it's actually starting an uptrend, to be honest. So it was trending down for a while, but looks like this bullish trend is definitely starting to kick into gear. I mean, if you wanted to be in long, you probably should have jumped in long on the 6 hour. It's a bit late to enter now. Maybe the 4 hour even. There were some opportunities down there. But right now, it's already moved up too far from the support area. So a bit too late to enter. Going to be keeping an eye on Jpy for potential long trades from here. So like a continuation type trade. If it breaks above this resistance area. This resistance area at the 150 is a very strong area. Not only does it have a bunch of bounces that we could look back on and see that it actually is strong because of the bounces, but it's also a pretty significant psychological level, 150. Nice rounded number. Psychological levels are very important in Forex. So if we do get a break and close above the 150, and then price falls back down to test that 150 area, I will be looking for a long trade from there. But right now, much like the other pairs, there's really not that much going on. Right, GBP USD. Stalling pretty heavily on the support area. Trending up overall, so there's potential for a continuation here. But it's made 2 attempts already at breaking this resistance area and it hasn't quite managed. Yeah, I don't want to be going long here. There's no way. There's potential, but I don't think it's a great idea. This support area is a bit fuzzy. Like, we're not... This is the problem with trading continuations. You know, if you have an area and you just pull it down a little bit, you can say that's a reversal. If you pull it up a little bit, you can say that's a continuation. Like, that's a bearish continuation. Like that. So whenever things are unclear, it's best to just not enter that trade. Right now, this is a pretty messy area of support resistance. All through here, we've got price bouncing around and just like not making much. It's not moving much. It's not trending much. It's just these small little candles just bouncing up and down through here. So it's really hard to get good strong support resistance areas as opposed to areas where price comes down and then bounces away like that, then comes back down, bounces away, then breaks through it, comes here and bounces away. You know, there you can get a clearly defined area. Here, where it's messy and all bouncing around close together, it's hard to get good support resistance areas. So I would definitely not be looking to take any trades here. It's just too messy. Definitely not going to go long there, guys. All right, New Zealand JPY. New Zealand JPY has fallen down to this strong support area. It's reversing now. I don't really trade this pair. I don't even know why I have it on my list. Nothing going on there. New Zealand USD. We talked about this pair on Thursday's analysis. We actually went into quite a bit into depth in this pair. Sorry guys if you're going to hear noises. I'm just pouring myself a coffee real quick. I have a thermos now. That way I can be extra lazy and not have to go downstairs to make fresh coffee. I just make like a big batch and then have it throughout the day. So if you hear a lot of noise, it's me pouring myself a coffee. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, we talked about New Zealand USD in depth in the analysis on Thursday. I think it was Thursday. Maybe it was Wednesday, but whatever. It was towards the end of last week. We talked about New Zealand USD in depth. Is Ash here today? Ash, I remember you were in this trade, right? Has it finally hit target for you? Your TP is at 69. Ah, you missed it by 6 pips. I think your TP is a bit to the high side. I think we talked about that. I suggested the best take profit would probably be in this rough area, unless I'm remembering this wrong, which would have been missed by this first spike up, unfortunately, just missed, but it would have been hit by this one here. You're a bit out of that area, a bit above it, which is fine. I mean, you don't have to just like blindly follow my targets. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, the importance of looking to the left when you enter a trade. You look to the left and you identify areas where price has stalled, and you get like this whole area here, and that's based on, you know, that bounce there, this bounce here. This is where price has stalled in the recent past. The wick bounce there. So your best target is usually towards the lower end of this area, because when it's towards the upper end of the area, it's harder for price to reach there. When it's towards the lower end, it's a lot easier for price to reach there. Now we see that wouldn't have worked out with this first move up, but certainly with the second move up, it was hit. Whereas yours, which is towards the upper end, wasn't hit. Now, I totally get why you have your target there. You have a risk to reward ratio of 2, if I recall. So what's your risk to reward ratio now on this trade? It's 2 now. It was 2.5 before. Well, anyway, regardless, for this trade, I think I did say this to you on Wednesday, Thursday. 1.5 would be a safer risk to reward ratio, simply because it is starting to trend down. So whenever a pair, whenever a pair starts to trend down, the safer risk to reward ratio becomes 1.5. Now, I totally understand why you don't have yours at 1.5. You said that 1.5 is not overall profitable for you, which is fair enough. But I think the better target here would be 1.5. But anyway, point is, it is pushing up. Even though it's kind of pulled back a little bit, there's still a good chance that it's going to continue up. But as always, with a trade that's trending down, And when you look to the left, you see obvious signs of price stalling. Time to target is a bit better. So I'll leave that one in your hands. I don't think anyone else is in that trade. USD CAD, what's going on with USD CAD? USD CAD's trending up like crazy, but now it's fallen back down. It's hit the support area. I'm going to move this area up a little bit here, more in line with those bounces. Price is stalling on the support area right now. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much we can do here. It's just in this really, really tight range. These kinds of ranges, I've started trading them actually. These kinds of really tight ranges. I've started trying to develop a entry criteria for these types of setups here. It's been pretty hit and miss, to be honest. I've been testing it on a small account because I want to. My goal this year is to add a lot of different types of setups to the Forex Mastermind course. So we're going to add different types of trade setups, and a few of them are coming out very soon, like advanced continuation setups, rebound setups, and stuff like that. But this is one of the setups I'm working on. I call it a compression setup, but to be completely honest, guys, it's pretty kind of 50-50 at the moment. The trades don't seem to work out that well. The risk to reward ratio is a bit off. I think it's just going to require some testing and tweaking before I figure out how to get the best out of these kinds of price action moves, where price just gets on top of a support resistance area and it just starts to narrow and compress. There is something here that can be done. It's just hard to find something that is consistently profitable over the long term, which is really the key. I mean, you need to be able to get, even if only 40% of the setups are profitable, and you have a good risk to reward ratio on them, then that's fine. But here we have around about 50% of the setups being profitable, but the risk to reward ratio is just not that great. So I need to mess around with things is the point, to kind of figure out how to get the best out of these setups. And I'll probably be, if I have some success with that, I'll probably be adding them towards the end of the year, compression setups. Because right now they're kind of break-even-ish, maybe slightly profitable, but not enough for it to be something that I would want to trade on a regular basis. Point is, USD CAD right now is kind of compressing on top of this support area. It is trending up, so what's likely going to happen here is it's just going to break out to either direction, break out up or break out down. So yeah, I mean, not really much that we can do here in terms of trading with the current strategy. USD CHF. USD CHF was trending down. It's now looking like it started a nice bullish trend. This could still be trending down overall. If you zoom out, you can see that it could still very well be trending down. You can kind of draw a trend line along the top of these. And you have to bend the rules of trend lines a bit, but that's pretty normal. That's why I don't really use many trend lines in my trading, just because trend lines can get pretty subjective. I mean, we could put it down there. A lot of people will say, oh yeah, it just cuts through the top of that candle, so we can have it there. And a lot of people bend the rules further, and they'll be like placing it there and saying, yeah, it just cuts through a few candles, so we could place it there. That's the thing I'm not crazy about with trend lines. They're pretty subjective. But point is, a trend line just helps you identify what direction it's kind of sloping in, let's say. I don't know if that's a good term for it. But obviously, USD CHF is still potentially sloping down. And if you want to have an easier way to see where it's potentially trending, you could always just switch to the weekly chart. And we can see on the weekly chart, it's not exactly started a strong bullish trend. I mean, it's done this before. here, and then continued down, here, and then continued down. So point being, it looks like it might be moving bullish over the shorter term, which is inside of an overall bearish trend. I would say that the most recent trend is up. I mean, it's been trending up for a few weeks now. So if price breaks above here, comes back down, I will be looking for a bullish continuation. But price has to break above the resistance area first. Yeah, other than that, guys, there's really not that much going on. Pretty boring start to the week, which is no surprise after the Easter weekend. Things just haven't really taken off yet. USD JPY, this one's just obviously trending down. Yeah, I mean, not really much going on here. Quick look at silver and gold. Prices in between support resistance right now. There's been a few really good opportunities with silver, like a bullish trade here, a bullish trade there. Some really good trade opportunities, but right now it's in between support resistance, so not much going on there. Then we got some gold. What's gold doing? Yeah. Nothing much really happening with gold, guys. Just these areas a little bit, yeah, but nothing much going on there. So, yeah, we've gone through a lot of pairs. We've not really found anything. That's just how it goes sometimes. I mean, you can't just look at a chart every time and find a bunch of awesome setups. Sometimes you'll find some great setups, sometimes you won't. Today is one of those days where we haven't found a bunch of great setups. But that's fine. After Easter, you know, things just tend to kind of be a bit slow to kick back into gear, especially this week, because this week we have NFP on Friday. So you'll find often that on NFP week, things are a bit slow until the Thursday and the Friday. Things just don't really take off until then. So couple that with the fact that we had a Monday bank holiday. We had the Easter weekend. So yeah, I don't really expect to see much this week, guys. It's going to be a pretty slow week, I predict. But we could get some awesome trades on Friday. As always, we look for trades from NFP, because you usually get some great setups just before NFP, and those setups are forming because NFP is going to drive price in a certain direction, and we can use price action to see what direction price is going to be pushed by NFP and get into those trades. So right now there's no setups. I don't really see much happening until this Friday. Perhaps on Thursday we'll get something, but that's just how it goes sometimes, guys. Any questions?